I'll just send her a message and just ask her what's happening.
Okay.
Oh gosh, hello everybody. I believe I'm on air. On Facebook. All right, just trying to get Kim Farnell. All right, hello everybody. I'm very excited because I'm supposed to be having Kim Farnell come on the show today, but we're trying to call her and we're getting a recorded message saying she's not available, so I don't really know what that means. There's also a massive, massive downpour going on here in... Oh, I've got her on Zoom though. There's a massive downpour going on here in London, so I don't know if that's affecting things. Hey, Kim.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Oh, I think you might need to... Oh, hang on. Let me see this. Say something. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I'm still here.
No, I'm actually trying to speak to Kim, but it's there's a terrible reverb.
Feedback loop going on.
Yeah, there's a feedback loop. Kim, they're trying to call you on your mobile. Is your mobile switched on?
Say that again?
Is your mobile switched on?
Yes.
Okay, because they're trying to ring and it's not going through, and we can't. This is not going to work like this because of the feedback.
I can't actually understand you.
You seem to have 2 Zoom accounts open.
I'm going to go away and come back.
All right, just come back with one.
I'm gonna try her on the phone again.
Okay, try her on the phone again. Let's see if she comes in. Hi everybody. I'm really sorry. We're having a few technical issues. Just kind of amusing because Kim and I wrote a book together about Mercury retrograde. Which have I got a copy of it right here? No, I haven't. Can we get a card, please? Yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't I give you a card? Ugh.
Hello, I'm sorry, but the person you called is not available. Please.
Yeah, it looks like the same issue.
Yeah, what's happening?
She's either declining the call or her phone's not on.
Such a shame because she's got such a lot of good stuff to say about horoscopes in theory today.
Is there a way she could call the stack?
Is that a US number? Okay, she said try again now, please, Louis.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm trying again here.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Sorry about this.
Hello?
Ah, Kim, we have you. All right, well, let's just do that. Forget about Zoom. Hopefully this won't drop out. Kim?
Yes?
You need to be a little bit closer to the microphone or the phone. No? We can't hear you. We can barely hear you. It's very muffled.
Yeah, I heard it all.
Not really.
I'm gonna hang up and call her back.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's better.
Okay, do it like this.
All right, is that okay for you, Louis?
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
All right, we're almost ready to go here.
Okay, how long have we got,
Okay.
Louis?
We got about 20 seconds.
Okay, bloody hell, okay. Cutting it fine. All right, I'm going to do a card for everybody who's watching right now. You ready?
Call now. Question or comment. 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555.
Here we go.
Get in tune with the sun, moon, and stars. This is Astrology with Yasmin.
Well, hello everybody. It's Yasmin Boland here with Astrology with Yasmin on Unity Online Radio and coming to you live and direct on Facebook as well. It's storming, raining in London right now, so hopefully we're going to manage to stay on air. This is supposed to be summer, and I think actually our country is crying because we lost. We missed out on winning the Euro final last night, and the whole country is devastated, and I think the rains, the heavens are pouring down as a result, basically, as we all try to come to terms with the fact that our dream did not come true. And if you're in America, you probably don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but just trust me, England is very, very sad today. So we've got a really interesting show for you today. Before I begin, I just want to make a note. I drew a card for all the people on Facebook just before we went live. And everybody's asking what they got because I kind of pulled it and then suddenly we were on air. You got this. Your dreams need a practical plan. So if you're listening on Facebook, or even if you're listening on Unity, it might be relevant to you as well. Your dreams need a practical plan. If you want to call in, I'll be taking calls later. 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555. But what I wanted to talk to you today about, partly, is my guest. I have a wonderful, it's been ages since I had a guest on the show, but I saw what my lovely friend Kim Farnell was up to, and I thought, I want to have her on the show to talk to her. So, let me tell you about Kim. Kim has been a part of the astrological world since the mid-80s, although she really doesn't, she looks like she's a young babe, and holds a faculty diploma plus an MA, if you don't mind, in cultural astronomy and astrology. She's worked as an astrologer, lectured widely in the UK and overseas, taught classes, taught me, and has been involved in numerous astrological associations, and of course, like all good astrologers, has written lots of horoscopes, with her primary interest being the history of astrology and related subjects. She's actually worked closely with the Theosophical Society on their history conferences. Excuse me. And she's written enough books to basically fill a shelf. Having spent 12 years as the president of the Astrological Lodge of London, which is the oldest astrological weekly meetup in the English-speaking world, she recently sought freedom to pursue her PhD. So she's Kim Farnell today. Not in the not too distant future, she'll be Dr. Kim Farnell. And she's now happily researching the link between the development of the horoscope column and women's media, which is, of course, extremely interesting to me. Kim is also a friend of mine and my co-author. If you have a copy of the Mercury Retrograde book, take a look on the cover and you will find both our names because we actually put that together. But in fact, we met back in the days when I was really like a student astrologer. I'd probably been into astrology for 2 or 3 years, and I was asked to write horoscopes. I don't know if I should say this, but I wrote it, so I'm going to say it. I asked one astrologer who shall remain nameless if she would help me get started with my first horoscope column that I'd been asked to write. And she told me that if I started to write horoscopes, she would never speak to me again. But I did, and she did. No, she didn't. Well, I did write the horoscopes, and she never spoke to me again. So there you go. So then I thought, well, who else can I ask? So I turned to 2 other people. The first being the late, great Jonathan Kaner, who was, I would guess, because I know at one point what his website was worth, and we're talking millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. He was the most successful horoscope of his time, I would say, until his very untimely death a few years ago. Jonathan actually took me under his wing and mentored me. I also asked Kim if she would help me out. I knew Kim from around the astrological traps, and I believe she had an astrology column in Company magazine back in the day. Kim and Jonathan both helped me enormously, and I needed help because guess what? Writing horoscopes is not something that they teach you in astrology school. So Kim and I are going to be talking about horoscopes today. Ahead of the talk she has coming up with a very prestigious organization called ISAR, I-S-A-R. She's actually going to be doing a talk about horoscopes for ISAR, I-S-A-R. If you're watching on Facebook and you want to book in for this talk, I've actually put a link in the description so you can just click and attend. I will be attending. And if you're listening on Unity Online Radio, just type in ISAR, I-S-A-R, Kim Farnell horoscopes, and it will take you to the page. So let's talk about horoscopes just for a second. As Kim says in the blurb for her upcoming talk, newspaper astrology columns are basically as old as newspapers themselves and began to feature more regularly from the 1890s onwards. In her talk, which she's got coming up, she's going to be looking at the development of popular astrology columns and how they became the 12 sign columns that we are all familiar with today. In addition to fun facts about how horoscopes developed, how, where, when, how they became popular, she's also going to be looking at the astrological techniques used and how they changed over time. And she'll take a more in-depth look at how a modern horoscope is written, and they're going to work, and you'll work together to create your own horoscope column. So if you're someone who's been dabbling in astrology, or you've been properly learning it, and you're thinking, gosh, I'd love to write horoscope columns, this will be a brilliant talk for you to attend. So, Miss Kim, after all that, are you there? And welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm still here, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So can I put you to work straight away, Kim? Can you give us kind of like a potted history of horoscopes?
Well, there's two versions. The version that most people know is that it started in 1930 when the astrologer R.H. Naylor wrote the column for the Sunday Express. And that became wildly popular, and that sort of astrology was born, 12-sign columns, and everyone took it on, and that's great. That's one version. That's the English version, by the way. If you're American, Dane Rudyard did it. And it's a completely different story going about how he invented 12-sign astrology.
How did he invent it?
Why did he invent it?
No, what's the Dane Rudyard version? I don't think I've heard that one, actually.
Okay, he was writing for American Astrology magazine in the early 1930s, and he wrote a phenomenal amount, a stupid amount. He wrote under at least 3 different names so that we didn't notice how much he was writing at the time.
Right.
But he did write horoscope columns, and it was at exactly the same time as Naylor was writing. So for the Americans, Dane Rudyard was at the forefront. And to the Brits, it was R.H. Naylor. But in both cases, sorry.
I was just going to say, do we know what the astrology was? Why suddenly horoscope columns are in the zeitgeist?
No, but they were in the zeitgeist before that. So it won't really do us a lot of good, if you see what I mean, the 1930s. That's just when we became aware.
Okay.
Because there's been columns in newspapers since at least the 1890s. And in women's magazines since at least the 1910s. I think the earliest one I've got listed is 1911. But they weren't exactly the same as we get now, because the 12-sign division hadn't been decided on.
Yeah, because for those of you who are watching, basically the R.N. Naylor story, is it R.N. Naylor? Is that his name?
R.H. Naylor.
R.H.
It was actually called Richard Thorpe, if it wanted to.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll call him R.H. Naylor, because that's what he's known as. So the thing was, what he did that was so clever, and apparently Dane Rudyard did it as well. And Dane Rudyard, you might have heard me mention, because he wrote the very famous book about the lunation cycle. Anyway, what R.H. Naylor did that was so clever was that he realized that everybody, we don't know our moon sign, we don't know our rising sign before we become astrologers, don't know our Mercury, anything like that, but everybody knows what day they were born. And he worked out, didn't he? That he could divide it into 12 sun signs, and everybody could read it in the paper without knowing anything about astrology. Is that basically right?
He was credited with that, but he had already been doing it for a very long time.
Right. Okay. So he got all the credit for someone else's hard work.
40 years.
Right.
When I
Okay.
say a long time, I mean decades, not just a few weeks before.
Right. Okay.
It's just, it wasn't usually presented in that way in the press.
Okay.
People say, the story says it's because people weren't familiar with the names of the signs. They weren't as familiar, but they were quite familiar with the names of the months, and they knew when they were born. So there were columns that came out just describing it by month.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I've just discovered there were horoscope machines. You know fortune telling machines. You can put a coin in and get a fortune.
Yes.
You've probably seen them somewhere at some point. They started selling horoscopes at the turn of the century. So we talk about 1901 or so.
Okay. And do you
So
know
people
if they were
becoming
like,
familiar then.
were they any good, or were they just, rubbish?
They were mainly, most of those were character readings.
Right.
And they're actually ridiculously similar to what we get now.
Right.
You'd be totally unsurprised. If I showed you one and said that was written last week, you'd go, yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be totally unimpressive because
Right.
it really hasn't changed much.
I've got someone on Facebook, Stella von Thun, who's saying, my mother knew the nailers and Phyllis taught my mum astrology in the 60s. Of course, I was hooked. So there you go.
Yeah, well, Phyllis was a horoscope writer herself, as some people might realise, that she wrote columns for a long time. In fact, a lot of the early writers were women, although the histories give R.H. Naylor, Edward Linder and people like that as the start. At the same time, Phyllis Naylor was writing for a lot of publications. Constance Sharp was, Adrian Arden. In both sides of the Atlantic, in the US and the UK, there have been more women writing horoscope columns than men since they started to appear.
Right, amazing. So I just want to say, so Kim, I don't know how many books you've written, but it's got to be at least 10. Is it more than 10?
I think so, but I don't know either, to be honest.
Kim just is like a writing machine. And she's a very, very, very good and serious astrologer. I gave you her credentials before. Now, I remember the first astrology conference I went to, which was, I don't know when, like 25 years ago probably, at the faculty one in Oxford. And at the time, there was a girl who was writing horoscopes. I can't remember. Gemini Jane was her name. And I remember whenever Gemini, she wrote them in the sun, I think it was, the horoscopes in the sun. And every time that Gemini Jane walked past, people would whisper and go, oh, look, there goes Gemini Jane. She writes horoscopes, as if horoscopes were like the worst thing in the world. So I would like to ask you, as a really, really, really serious astrologer, why the interest in horoscopes?
Actually, I think the question's a bit different, you know, Matt. If I'd like to turn it round a bit, why do people think it's such an awful thing to do? And I've been looking at some of the possible reasons, and one seems to be that it's mainly women that do horoscopes, sun sign astrology, rather than serious astrology.
The patriarchy strikes again, in other words.
And also, historically, the horoscope columns, as we know them today, have appeared in magazines and newspapers aimed at lower class readers.
Ah.
So
there's a
degree of
snobbery.
that. It's slightly more complicated. But
Snobbery and sexism, basically.
yeah, there's other things you could throw into the pot, but I think you get the idea of where it's coming from.
Right. And you actually wrote a book about horoscopes, didn't you?
I wrote a book about sun sign astrology, which touched on horoscopes. It's out of print at the moment because I'm now working on a better and more extensive thing as part of my PhD.
Okay.
So I'm going into a lot more depth than I did.
And that was Flirting with the Zodiac, right?
Yes, but that's currently out of print, I'd say, and I'm not totally satisfied with it, so
Okay.
it's not likely to emerge soon.
Okay, cool. So one thing that my old mentor, Jonathan Kaner, said to me once was, He said, look, there's no substitute for real astrology where you sit down with an astrologer and you have an hour and a half and you give them your time, date and place of birth and they look at your personal chart and they can see where all your planets are and which houses they're all in and all that. He said, but it's like music. He said, you know, it's like an orchestra. When you get a proper reading, it's like an orchestra playing. But he said, reading your horoscopes, which is what he did, he said it's like playing a xylophone. And if you're a really good player, you can get a decent tune on a xylophone. So
Yeah.
do you kind of agree with that? Like that they're a quick fix, a good quick fix?
They all, yes. But also there's something about them that they change in about the 1940s, 1950s. And because the Association of Women's Magazines, horoscope columns came more geared to solving a problem. There's a crossover with problem pages in women's media. And this gradually went into newspapers. So they're quick fix, but quick fix for a specific problem.
Yeah.
Whereas an astrology full reading, you analyse your character, what's coming up in a whole load of different areas of your life, how you're going to interact with various people in these various situations. Yeah. Lots of detail and lots of things. But if you want to know whether you should go outside on Wednesday, you don't necessarily need all that information at that time. Yeah,
yeah. So I actually think maybe, because what actually happened was when I got offered this gig, were you writing the horoscopes for Company magazine at the time?
Yeah, I was doing Company. I think I was doing the Real Home magazine as well at that time. So
yeah.
Two.
So I got in touch with Kim and I said, listen, I've been offered horoscope writing. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have even been doing, I actually don't remember what it was. And I said, can you help me, please? And so Kim said, sure, very kindly. And we went out for coffee. I always remember you had this funny little board which you moved all the planets on around. And don't know if you remember that. But one thing I think you said to me, or I definitely do this, and from what you just said, it may have come from you, is with a horoscope, look for the problem and look for the solution. So, you know, that's the thing when, as Jonathan Caney used to say, people don't read their horoscopes when they're really, really happy. They read their horoscopes when they're having a dreadful day and they want some help. So it makes a lot of sense to think, okay, what's going on for these people? You know, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Kim's talking about is, you know, look for the problem and then find the solution. So, Kim, tell us about this talk you're going to do for ISAR, because honestly, I know it's going to be amazing and there might be some people who would like to come to it.
Okay, well, a big chunk of it is looking at the development of the column. So I've got lots of examples with columns going way back, written by different writers in different places. And I'll try and look at, as well as just looking at the language, look at what techniques they use to get those results.
Yeah, and it's only $9.99, by the way, this talk. It's ridiculously cheap, actually. I think you're underselling yourself there, Kim.
It wasn't up to me to decide that. But it will be accessible for people who don't know much astrology, because they might just like the history side of it. Those who know more astrology might get more into the techniques.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep the content so that even if you don't know much astrology, you can follow what's going on.
Right.
It's not just for people who really know what they're doing.
Okay, so again, if you want to sign up for it, I'm definitely going to sign up for it. There's a link above. There should be a link on the top of my Facebook description. And if not, just Google ISAR, I-S-A-R, Kim Farnell horoscopes. And it's $9.99. I mean, that's like crazy money. So, Kim, before I let you go, can I just ask you something? Is it true, do you think, because you know lots of very famous astrologers all over the world, because Kim's been around for years and years, and as we said, she was the president of the Astrological Lodge of London. She's the longest serving president of that ever. Do you think it's true there's lots of these famous astrologers who secretly write horoscopes and they just don't tell anyone? John Frawley.
There are going to be some, yeah, and there are some famous astrologers that would never go near a horoscope column, there are some that write them on the quiet, and there are some who are totally unashamed. And in the end, astrologers are people as well, I guess the answer, so you've got a bit of everything.
And do you feel like horoscopes have their place, having sort of studied them over all the years?
And one of the reasons I'm doing the study now is because there have been quite a lot of analyses of women's magazines and women's press, and they've looked at the content, and astrology almost always gets put under miscellaneous.
Right.
It doesn't get analysed, and there's no sort of content analysis, there's no look at the language used, how it fits in, and yet it's been in the women's magazines for at least 100 years.
Yeah, amazing. And so just one more thing, sorry, I'm very curious. So you're actually doing a PhD in this?
Yes, I'm halfway through my first year now.
And what's the sort of the title of your thesis going to be, or is that secret or undecided?
It's undecided because at the moment it's got a really dull working title, which is something about looking at the relationship between popular astrology in the form of horoscope columns and women's media.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually accord something far snappier than that in the end.
Right. And I mean, the other thing is horoscopes are a really good entry point for people, you know, because if you, like Jonathan Kane has said, if you read an astrologer who can play the xylophone properly and give you a proper good reading based on rulership, for example, you know, you start to see, oh my God, there's actually something in this. And then you start to think, well, maybe there's something in astrology.
It's a good access point because horoscope columns are about people, whereas a lot of beginner astrology texts and courses are about the techniques and how you teach the astrology.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, there you go. Pretty amazing. I'm pretty impressed. Kim, are you ever going to like stop writing, or are you just going to keep writing and writing and writing till you've written 1,000 books?
Until I fall over and do nothing anymore.
Yeah, it's quite amazing how many you've written. Okay, so just tell everybody where they can find you.
I don't currently have a website, unfortunately, but it's quite easy to Google my name and find my email and contact me, and I'm on Facebook and places like that. I'm ridiculously easy to find.
And do you do personal readings for people?
Rarely. To be honest, I don't have a lot of time nowadays. I do occasionally, but I tend to do horror readings or electional readings, quick fix readings, rather than long in-depth analyses.
And so for those of you who don't know, an electional reading is for all of those people who write to me going, I want to get married, when's the best day? Is that what you're doing, that kind of stuff?
That's the stuff, yeah.
Okay, well there you are.
In fact, I've done a lot of weddings and opening a business, that sort of thing. I've done a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and Kim, I seem to remember I set you up with a website.
I've been keeping it offline because there just aren't enough hours in the day.
Yes, fair enough.
The last several months, which is why the writing, something has to give. There's not room for everything, unfortunately.
We should just set you up with another one which just links to all your books, though, you know, because then people go, oh, that Kim Farnell.
On the list of things to do, but it's a very long list.
Right, well, I'm always here to help you because you help me.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Kim. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to leave us with? Any nuggets of wisdom about horoscopes?
No, but if anyone has got really old magazines, women's magazines, then I'd really appreciate it to get in touch because I'm collecting as many as I can and I go to the libraries, but a lot simply haven't survived.
So if you've got any magazines, what, pre-19...
20s, 1920s, 30s, 1940s, the main period I'm looking at the moment.
And would you be happy even just a photograph of the horoscope page? Even just a photograph of...
Just a photograph or a scan of the page, just so that I can add to the collection. Because, like I said, one of the problems is a lot of these magazines simply haven't survived.
Yeah.
And people have them in their lofts or attics, or they've got an old one stuffed under the sofa. And I've been given quite a few by people who've been rummaging around their loft, and I know there's a lot more out there.
Yes, and Susan is saying, thank you so much, Kim. Do you want some from North America? Yes. Definitely. So if you... Go on.
I'm mainly looking at the UK, but I'm also looking at America and Australia, because I've got some good Australian examples.
All right. So if you find one, guys, just email me, Yasmin at yasminboland.com, and I will make sure it finds its way to Kim. All right,
Great,
look, that's
thanks.
exciting. I'm very excited for you, Kim. You're so industrious, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a fun life and go out, actually. At the moment, there's little to do with these stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, well, now we're going to start to break out again, so it's all going to be good. Well,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, thank you so much, Kim. That's Kim Farnell. And I hope to see you in person before too long. I think I haven't seen you since you came to my party just before. That would have been a year and a half ago.
Ages.
Yeah, long time.
Okay, yeah.
All right, well,
Okay,
thank
thanks
you,
for
Kim,
that,
and
Yasmin.
lots of love. Brilliant. So that was Kim Farnell. And if you've got any old magazines from the 20s, 30s or 40s, last century, with the horoscope page, take a photo of the horoscope page, please, and email me. We're back after the break.
All right.
Thanks, Louie.
Hello?
Thanks, Kim. That was lovely. It was so good. So interesting.
Great. I have to stop talking over you. I realise that's the problem with doing it with just audio, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's not. It went both ways, I'm afraid. It's also because there's a slight delay and you're never quite sure when the other person stopped talking.
Yeah, I need to practice a bit for stuff like that. Okay, that was okay. It didn't sound too bad.
No, you sounded great, darling. That was wonderful. I mean, I could have talked to you for an hour, but, it was brilliant. Thank you.
No, don't forget, I'll be doing this for a long time. You'll soon get bored of it.
All right. Okay, well, stay in touch and let me know when the book comes out.
Soon.
All right, lots of love. All right, that was the amazing Kim Farnell. She's actually one of the most amazing astrologers out there, but she's very modest and humble. All right, so it was very interesting, says Susan. Thank you. I'm glad. All right, so I did a card before. Did you get what the card is? Here's another one. You ready? Surrender to the divine. That's like the card for all cards. Just give me 1 second. I just want to look at something. We've got about 2 minutes till we're back on air. I just want to check something. All right, so yeah, so I'm going to talk about the astrology of the week ahead now. That's what I'm going to do. 7 days. Let's have a look. So, yes, we have Venus meeting Mars, which is very nice. And we've just had the new moon. So, ask me anything. Om Namo Narayani. Same to you, Alicia. We'll be back on air in about a minute or two. Actually, we've got about 2 minutes. Who's got a question? I really need to work on surrendering to the divine. Okay, let's talk about that for 2 minutes until we're back on air. So, surrendering to the divine is the best thing we can ever do for ourselves. It's not easy, and sometimes you just can surrender one bit and you can surrender another bit. Ideally, the idea is to surrender entirely to the divine. And remember, you are divine, okay? We are all divine. So when we surrender to the divine, we're literally just surrendering to the divine part of ourselves and the big divine of which we are a beautiful burning log or a spark or whatever. And my chant that I always do when I need to surrender something to the divine, actually for some reason I'm remembering once upon a time when I was on a very, very turbulent plane with my family. And, I just called in the divine with this chant. So you can do it when you're in strife, when you're in trouble, when you just need to surrender something. And it's really simple. It's Om Namo Narayani, which means I surrender to the divine, or I surrender to the divine mother. I'll just chant it once. Om Namo Narayani. So just try that, Kathy, and Sally.
Call now with your question or comment. 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555.
Here we go.
Find out what's happening happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Hello everybody. So welcome back. We just had an amazingly interesting chat with an amazingly interesting astrologer called Kim Farnell, who is my co-author on the Mercury retrograde book. She is going to be doing a talk about horoscope astrology with ISAR, I-S-A-R, which I will definitely be attending. It's only $9.99, which strikes me as quite ridiculous. This woman has the brains of the brains of Britain. I don't know. Anyway, bloody good value. Go to, look, just Google. Either you can click the link above. I've double checked the link and it's working. Or you can just Google ISAR, I-S-A-R, Kim Farnell horoscopes, and you'll be taken to the page. All right, so we've got, only got a couple of callers on the line. I will be taking a couple of calls. But if you want to go on the line, it's 816-251-3555, 816-251-3555. Now, some people have reminded me that I promised I was going to like show you my new cards. And okay, so I actually got, look, I just want to show you. I actually got 2 decks of cards the other day. I was sitting at home, doorbell rings, go to the door, there's a guy with a big parcel, a big sort of padded envelope, no clue what it is. Open the door, I open the parcel, and then bang, it's 2 decks of my cards. And I didn't want to open them because my son went away camping with some friends for 4 nights, and I really wanted him to be here when I opened the deck. And then I wrote to Hey House and I said, should I open these now or should I wait a bit? And they said, you should wait a bit. Sorry about that. Blame them. But I am going to show you, yes, I'll do the big reveal, Alicia. I'm going to show you at least the cover. So are you ready to see? It's the new moon. We've had the new moon. Let me just double check the stars right this minute. Let's have a look. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. You know, it's not a good time. Oh, hang on. This is an hour out. I don't know why, but my solar fire keeps being an hour out. You know, it's not a good time to show you yet. The moon is in Pisces. Hang on. No, sorry, the moon is in Leo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. It's not the right time, guys. I'm just putting them aside. No. Sorry. I will do it at the right time. I would do it at the right time, but they are there. They do exist. I haven't even opened them yet, but let me just tell you a little bit about them. Oh, and someone there, Mindy's saying she's already pre-ordered them. Yeah, you can pre-order them. Basically, the first question everybody says to me about the cards is, how are they different from the first deck of cards? So the first deck of cards, which I've got in my hand here. So these are beautiful, designed by Nix Rowan and Hay House. They did such an amazing job on these. Kind of got them upside down, actually. Amazing. Let's just draw a card for everybody who's watching live. If you're watching this live or listening on Unity Online Radio live, let's choose a card. That's 2 cards. Can you hear the thunder and lightning? It's just like crazy. I hope my son isn't caught in the rain somewhere. He does have a jacket on. All right. Oh, good. Okay. So have you got a question? Because here's your answer. It says conclusions are within reach. So that means if you're thinking of asking a question like, oh my goodness, when is beep going to be over? The answer is quite soon. Okay. I'll just read you about what that means. So these cards of mine, hang on, full moon eclipse. As I keep telling everybody, because it's kind of amazing, they are actually literally the best-selling oracle cards in the whole wide world. I almost want to swear when I say that. And I just think, you know, like, had someone come up to 14-year-old Yasmin Boland in Hobart, Tasmania, in Sandy Bay, and said, one day you're going to write the best-selling oracle cards in the whole world, I would have said, what are oracle cards? I didn't even know what they were back in those days. I can't remember when I first started to learn about. I mean, I was always interested in mystical things, but I think we used to do I Ching. My friend's Fee's mum had the I Ching. Anyway, so this is our message. I used to like doing the I Ching, but I don't think I used to like the idea of divination, but I don't know when I first learned. Oh, I do know when I first learned about cards, actually. And I can tell you in a minute. Some of you will know that deck. All right, so here is a reading for everybody. Full moon eclipse, and just like that, bang, a door slams shut. If you've pulled this card, it suggests that the situation you're asking about is about to reach a peak or has just done so, and things are now out of your hands. Woohoo! What you're experiencing now is what your soul signed up for, a way for you to learn and for your soul to evolve. So allow events to unfold and be easy on yourself. If you're letting go of someone or something, know it's the right time, as hard as it might be. Forgiving someone for what they did could be the key to resolving this situation in a positive way. It doesn't make it right what they did, but if you release it, you can move on. So tune to the moon. That which is meant for me will not pass me by. By the same token, that which is not meant for me will pass me by. Doors that slam shut now will not reopen. It's time to get back on track. Forgiveness will set you free of karma. Meditation, pranayama, and yoga nidra are all recommended now. Seed control and let events unfold. So there we go. And as I always say, someone there, Leanne, is saying my favourite cards ever. I was so lucky to be asked to write these cards. And I think they did so well because I did a lot of spiritual work as I was writing them. I'm going to take a call in 1 minute. Just hang in there, Sanella, Shaney and Pauline. I will take a call, but I just wanted to show you, I think these were the first deck of cards I ever used. I don't remember having cards ever before. I don't remember. Maybe I got introduced to tarot cards in England by my friend Anita Nike. Some of you might remember her. She used to be the agony aunt for Just 17. We were friends. We've lost touch, unfortunately, because she lives about 5 million miles away from me in London. We just haven't caught up for years. Hello, Anita, if you're there. I think Anita and I did tarot cards. We worked together back in the 90s. But these are the first cards I really, really remember sort of getting into. And they're called the Angel Oracle. So let's do an Angel card. Someone's saying, where can I pre-order your new deck? Well, you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Barnes & Noble. You can get them at Booktopia. You know, anywhere, really. Anywhere they sell all good books. All right, so, all right. I'm just going to do a reading. First of all, I'm going to do a reading for someone who's waiting because I feel like it's not right just to leave people waiting forever. Let's go to line 3, Shaney. Hello there, Shaney. Hello, Shaney. Hello, Shaney. Hello? Hi, Shaney. How are you? Hello, Shaney.
I'm going to ask her to call back.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get Shaney back on the line. In the meantime, let's do a card for everybody. Let's see which angel wants to come through. So the deck of these cards came from my friend Jane Purchell, who I am very much still in contact with, one of my best friends in the world, I would say. And it was when I was living in Sydney, when I was young, free and single, and back in the day, and we started to learn to meditate. And I used to go around to Jane's house all the time and sit around and discuss the meaning of life. And she had this oracle deck. And then last year when I went to Bath to record my Moonology certification course, there was a deck of cards, of oracle cards, angel oracle cards, in the house that Hay House rented for us to record. And I was like, oh my God, I remember these. These were amazing, these cards, because they were I think they were the first cards I ever really used. And they're all angels, you know, so there's no scary bits. And so I went on online afterwards and bought a deck, and I managed to get an old deck, which my son managed to step on the other day, so they're looking very authentic. Yeah, so I got like a first edition deck, which I was very, very pleased to get. All right, so I've got a card here. What did we get? Oh, maybe the angels are trying to tell me something. We got the guardian angel of maturity. The guardian angel of maturity with the message, as I take responsibility, I also develop my strength. All right, let's look it up in the book that comes with it. This is such a great oracle. Let me see if I can find out when it was first published. It was first published, I think it was first published in 1995. I was probably playing with it in 1995. It must have just come out then. Okay, the Guardian Angel, page 30. Going to find out a bit about what we all need to hear this. If you're listening, it's meant to be. Okay, this angel helps us mature into wise beings, capable of handling responsibilities and making fruitful choices to enhance our joy and well-being. It shows us how to age with grace. So that's a good one. It carries the lantern of wisdom, which I'll just, for those of you who are on Facebook, you can see the lantern of wisdom in the angel's hand, and a trumpet symbolizing an appreciation of music, one of the great beauties of life. All right, so the angelic realm. So this angel helps us make careful and wise decisions for our welfare and for the welfare of those in our care, whether we are supervisors, carers, or parents. The guardian angel of maturity helps us and guides us to manage high degrees of responsibility for who we are and how we want our lives to be. It helps us when we feel the weight of our choices may be too much for us to bear, and supports us in finding the right answers to perplexing issues which confront us in our work and our relationships. We can pray to this angel to bless and guide us and to help steer a course through the shoals and drafts of life's river with wisdom and insight. We can pray to be led to love and joy. We can ask that our decisions come from love and are not based on the love of power. We can also ask for guidance in being mindful of the needs of younger or less responsible people entrusted in our care. This angel helps us to find the peace and wisdom which comes with maturity. We may need guidance to know the difference between what simply feels good and what is truly right for us. We may ask for courage to cultivate wisdom and the ability to handle power so that we are never abusive. We can ask those entrusted to our care to feel safe with us. This angel can bless us with self-respect, strength of character, so that the trials and difficulties of life do not become a burden, but rather enhance our essential qualities and allow us to be radiant spiritual beings. Amazing. So there we are. There we are. It says we can pray to be led to love and joy. So let's just put our hands on our heart. Just close your eyes and just breathe. And we ask to be led to love and joy. And And we ask to be led to love and joy. And we ask to be led to love and joy. There we go. Okay. All right. So Shani seems to have disappeared, but let's go to Pauline on line 4. Are you there, Pauline?
Hi, thank you. I'm so thrilled to be called on.
Ah, well, welcome.
Thank you. So very happy.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I thought what I would do today, Pauline, is draw you an angel card. What do you think about that?
Okay, whatever I'm grateful for anything.
Okay, so tell us about you, Pauline. Where are you? What are you doing, and all that sort of stuff.
I'm in New York. Unfortunately, I have another teacher on astrology, but I find you very interesting because of the chanting and the dark moon. I found you that way.
Ah.
And then I did see that you had this weekly, but I have somebody that I'm following astrology-wise, and actually she lost her son last night, so she's not doing a show, but I was already planning on listening to your show.
Oh my God.
I'm just in shock right now, so I guess I could not handle if you did my astrology. I would not even be paying attention. So I'm
right. Oh, well, okay. Well, interesting, because, the angel that I've got for you is the angel of serenity.
Oh, I need that.
So that's extremely apt. There's a reason why you're here today getting this, okay? Let's have a go. Let me find... So the angel of serenity, I feel serene and tranquil when I accept who I am. Let me just see how I can quickly find the thing in here, because it's not clear actually. Wisdom, love, harmony, peace. Oh my goodness. Am I going to find it? Just need to find it. Just hang in there for a second while I flick through, because it's not really clear how to find the angels. There's no numbers on. Oh, there we are. There we are. The angel of serenity. Okay.
Does this apply to other people in the audience as well? It's not just me, right? There might be other people out there who need this angel of serenity.
Anybody who hears this may get comfort from this, but this has been chosen for you, particularly, Pauline, okay?
Okay.
So, the angel of serenity is carrying the dove that symbolizes the serenity of life. The calm stance invokes the tranquility and peace that are this angel's gift to us. Serenity is a blessing that enables us to feel safe and comfortable. With the gift of serenity, we have the opportunity to be peaceful in our lives. Okay, the angel of serenity dances with us as we engage in daily struggles and conflicts. This angel wishes us the ease of serenity and will often stimulate our dreams to create a vision of how life could be if only we dared to live from that place within us. This angel will always encourage us to disengage from struggle and conflict. This is done by changing our attitude and reframing our view of a person or situation. The gift of serenity comes when we have surrendered our struggles and given up on negativity. It is a gift that may be shaken from time to time, but once we have had the experience of it, we will always want it in our lives. We may partake of spiritual and esoteric practice to try to achieve this state. In truth, serenity, like peace, is always there for us when we slow our lives down to a pace where we can feel our feelings and tune into the oneness of the source. We can offer prayers to this angel to give us a taste of serenity so that we can make the adjustments and changes necessary to live from our inner being. So there you go, Pauline. So let's do a chant, because you said you like chants, and I'm feeling strongly urged to do a chant with you. So let's do a chant, shall we? I'll just do I'll do the chakra clearing chant, which should hopefully help you and everybody else who's listening and me to get rebalanced, and then we'll send some love to your friend, okay? So here we go. Just close your eyes and breathe. Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Om Swaha Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Om Swaha Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Om Swaha. Just breathe in white light. Breathe out stress. 2 more times. Breathe in white light. Breathe out stress. Breathe in white light. Breathe out stress. There we go. And now we're just going to send some love to Pauline's friends. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm just doing my magic fingers. Just wiggle your fingers and we'll send love and healing to this poor woman who's gone through this terrible tragedy. All right. Okie dokie. So there we go, Pauline. Will you pass on our love to your friend? Okay, and remember, you've got the angel of serenity, so you need to try and find some serenity, and maybe your own serenity can help your friend.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Pauline. Thanks for calling in. All right, so I'm going to now just quickly take a look at the astrology for the week ahead, because I did promise that I would do this. And what we have tonight is actually quite nice. So in the next sort of 5-6 hours, depending on where you are in the world, is not necessarily night, it might be morning your time. We have Mercury trining Jupiter. So that's actually like an opportunity and a reminder for us and to us to keep our thoughts positive. And funnily enough, as I say that, I'm seeing there was 111 people on the Facebook Live, 111 people. And you know, when you see 111 or 1111, that is said to be a sign to keep your thoughts positive. And it's funny, it popped up just at that point. Mercury trine Jupiter, keep our thoughts positive. And you know, also really good if you want to have a really difficult conversation with someone. It can be give you the words that you need to say. It can help you find the confidence that you need. But it's really about thinking positively. We're also going to have, in the next sort of 24 hours, Venus, the planet of love, is going to be connecting with Mars, the planet of sex. So we're going to get sex and love meeting up. So it makes tonight pretty good for a date night, actually, if you can do a date night. My husband and I actually get to do a little date night on a night like tonight, because my son goes off and does his own thing on Monday nights. Later in the week, on the 15th of July, so really we're going to feel this on the 14th of July, wherever you are. We've actually got the sun trining Neptune, Neptune being the numinous planet of the divine. So a really good week to be doing meditations. Then we're going to have on the 15th of July, Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to go into a retrograde period. Now that's quite good because if you're in a painful situation, it's kind of got to stop moving forward. It's going to give you a chance to go back and do some healing. So in your life, if you need healing, really good time to give or get a healing session. And then the week is going to end with the sun, which is, so obviously so central to our lives. The sun is going to be making an opposition to Pluto. Now, that's actually quite intense for the simple reason that Pluto is pretty much the most intense of all the planets. It's about power and passion and intensity. So just go easy, sort of in the lead up to next week at the end of the weekend, basically. If you find yourself getting involved in a big power struggle with someone, stop. Stop. Just try and go easy. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have an amazing, amazing week, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Lots of love.
Okay.
Thank you, Louis.
You're welcome.
See you later.
All right, talk to you next week.
Yep. Bye. There we go. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna go and have a cup of coffee and just chill out after all that. I hope you're all right. Hope you're well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the thunder? Lots of love. See you later.